Well, I'm glad to know our ace isn't perfect.
Well, I guess we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, but whatever happens, we got you.
We could try to run as far as we can. But the truth is always at a considerable distance. It is when there is nowhere to hide or nothing to focus on that we begin to dig within and face the feelings and fears that we are so afraid of. In All American Homecoming Season 2 Episode 11, we see the major characters Simone, Damon, Marcus, Amara, Nate, JR, PKZ sisters, and new addition Zoe, face the forbidden and challenge the status quo. Stay tuned while we elucidate this new episode. The unexpected happened at the end of episode 10 as Simone and Damon finally kissed. Both characters try to reconcile what exactly the kiss potentially meant, which we will discuss later in this video. Meanwhile, Damon is trying to figure out living in a world where his dad is not alive. Trying to juggle being back on campus, his education, baseball, and whatever is going on with Simone, Damon tries to look within, willing to face the uncomfortable to see where it could potentially lead. This was contrary to how Simone was reacting to the things she was facing, especially with Damon. With Damon failing his midterms exams, things started to look gloomy for him as he could potentially lose football and his brotherhood in baseball. And at this point in time, where he is very uncomfortable in the quiet, baseball helped him keep his mind active. But his low GPA did not last long. Damon was able to think through and face his obstacles. He realized that his failure had nothing to do with grief and everything to do with technicalities and learning. And with that, he was able to fix the midterm grades and get back on the field with his boys. But Simone was perplexed as we see her in an exam room thinking about her kiss with Damon, which to admit is a different type of boldness. But it could be very possible that she was distracted by the difficulty of the paper. With Damon trying to face his problems head-on, he texts Simone so they can talk about the kiss. But Simone does not want to face the truth, at least not at this moment. But that didn't last because Damon saw her not long after the text. Before they could talk more, there was a Yard Yak post about a high-profile male athlete leaving the room of an uprising female athlete in Simone's hall. Presumably, as she was fuming about the post. Simone used the post as an outside vindication to cover the fact the kiss could have meant more than she is willing to admit. Simone did again what she always does to Damon anytime things get serious. She asked him to distance himself as she tries alone to solve the problem head-on. Elsewhere, we see Nate bold and confident trying to solve the election problem. We saw in the earlier episodes of the season that Nate was depressed as her campaign was losing ground and Simone helped to fuel the insecurity. But since then Nate is active and more engaged with students talking about her platform and what she could offer if elected. With a little help from Damon, Nate realized that her work has not been futile. She was higher in the polls than she actually realized. One of her competitors, Walenda, overhears Nate's conversation with Damon, and decides to step down as she believes Nate will have a better chance against Nico, a 1-2 punch. Nate seems to be rising on all fronts but not so much Simone. With Simone requesting Nate to help her find who made the post on Yard Yak, Nate calls to give Simone an update. But Simone did not like what she was hearing. Nate's connect was not able to decode who made the post. With all options obliterated, Simone finally starts facing the truth, at least with her PKZ sisters, about who the post was about. As stressed as she was, her sisters supported her by risking their place on the line when they shared secrets about not entirely obeying the rules of PKZ. Which now seems more glaring as they were very willing to forgive Simone quite easily for dumping Nico's campaign posters in the trash. But Simone still had to face the facts with Damon. Another Yard Yak post was released soon after Simone spoke to her PKZ sisters. Simone realizes the original post was not about her to begin with. And what a shocker it was. Simone seemed relieved but disgruntled at the same time because the truth was, as Nate said, she had to face why she was so worried about the kiss instead of fighting the people who had nothing to do with it. JR, being the leader of KEK, was lost on what his brothers were doing. After Gabby spoke to JR on behalf of Cam, JR decided to ease up on some of the archaic practices that have been perpetrated in KEK for so long. But his assistant, although agreeing on the spot, was not in conjunction with that decision. He wanted to have things his way and was performing separate practices with his brothers, excluding Cam so the news does not get to JR. Cam did find out and so did JR, who almost disbanded the whole KEK line, but Cam stood up for his brothers. JR had no option but to let go of his assistant, a brother who has been a ride and die in KEK but was megalomaniacal enough to put his pride about his servitude. As we all know, the hard truth is normally avoided not so much for the truth itself but for consequences or the effect that truth can have. And JR as a leader made the hard choice for the betterment of the brotherhood. From the last episode, breakdown in the description below, we saw that Amara was caught in a love triangle, herself, Zeke and Coach Marcus. What choice was she going to make? We find Amara flirtatiously texting Zeke in this episode with blushes all over her face. With her friend Candace wanting all the juice, Amara decided to tell how she feels about each of them by doing a pros and cons list. As much as she had very positive things to say about both of them, we realize how her face lit up when she began talking about Coach Marcus. And how all the adjectives she used to describe him had nothing to do with anything material. She seemed to have made her choice, Coach Marcus. Zeke seemed to be primed for a romantic relationship. A learned doctor, with an apparent mansion, compared to a coach with mood disorder. But Amara made the choice she believed was right. Could this relationship last due to Amara being Marcus' boss? Will Zeke fight as Marcus did? How is Coach Marcus' mood going to affect this relationship? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. The fight with herself was done when Simone decided to talk to Zoe, the lady behind the Yard Yak scandal post. Simone learned from Zoe that it is okay to face your truth without being sad or worried about what other people think. Which is exactly what she did. Everything seemed to have been clarified for both Damon and Simone, who if not interrupted would have told each other how they really felt. But Nate and JR decided otherwise. The reasoning being there is a right time for everything in life. And if there ever was a chance for them to be together, could this be the right time? Their friendship was important and Simone and Damon could potentially lose each other forever if this doesn't work out. After these conversations, Damon and Simone finally had that talk. What was it going to be? With Simone being the first to speak, Simone decided to take the higher road because although she is very interested in Damon, she loves him enough to not risk a relationship while he is grieving. But underneath all that, she was truly hoping that maybe Damon will tell her otherwise. But Damon decided to agree while they gave each other a warm hug. What do we think about Damon and Simone and an upcoming romantic relationship? How long do we think they can hide their true feelings from each other? We see in the trailer for episode 12, that Lando is back. With Lando being very perceptive and Damon being relentless in his pursuit of Simone, as he asks for a dance and kisses her hand, will they both clash in the next episode? Please share your thoughts below. This is all we have for the breakdown of All American Homecoming Season 2 Episode 11. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and switch on the notification button to experience all things All American Homecoming related. Thank you for watching and see you next time.